Let's talk about Mark Billingham's time in the Parachute Regiment, the brutal selection process, and his first operational deployment. His story is one of youthful fearlessness transforming into resilience, discipline, and self-belief under the harshest military conditions. As a teenager, Billingham had always been brash, fearless to the point of recklessness, often getting into fights without hesitation. But the first day on the parade square was a wake-up call. Lined up with 70 recruits, he was one of the youngest and skinniest. Around him stood men with broad, muscular builds, hairy chests, and tattoos. To him, they looked like real men, while he felt completely out of his depth. Self-doubt set in almost immediately. He questioned whether he could ever match up to these larger, tougher-looking recruits. But he also knew one thing with absolute certainty: he couldn't go back to his old life. That conviction anchored him. As training progressed and the weeks passed, he noticed something remarkable. The big, intimidating men began dropping out. Every time he looked down the line and saw fewer faces, it strengthened him. What started as doubt turned into confidence. By the end, only 7 originals remained from the original intake. Billingham wasn't just among them. He was named champion recruit, recognized as the best of the group. Training itself was relentless, running in boots, carrying heavy loads, gym sessions that lasted nearly an hour with no rest, and constant pressure from instructors created an environment where weakness was quickly exposed. The shouting and screaming were intentional, designed to break down recruits and rebuild only the strongest. Billingham admits he struggled, particularly with endurance. He had boxed extensively before joining, so his cardio fitness was strong, but the constant demands of running around mountains with a house on your back were unlike anything he had experienced. Despite the suffering, he began to embrace it, enjoying the sense of achievement each time he completed a test. A key moment for him was completing P Company, the notorious Parachute Regiment selection course. For the first time in his life, he wasn't being told he had failed. Instead, he saw the word pass next to his name. Having been used to academic failure in school, this was transformative. Out of 40 men, only 11 passed, and he was one of them. For a young man constantly told he wouldn't amount to anything, this was life-changing. It gave him real belief in his own abilities. But even with success, the mental battle was constant. On every run, he wrestled with 2 voices in his head, one telling him to give up, and the other pushing him to keep going. He describes it as a battle between an angel urging him to quit and a devil telling him to run through the trees and keep moving. It was the latter that ultimately carried him through. After training, Billingham was deployed to Northern Ireland in the 1980s during one of the most dangerous phases of the Troubles. Unlike conventional battlefields, there was no clear enemy. The IRA operated in the shadows using bombs, ambushes, and assassinations. The odds, he recalls, were always stacked against soldiers. You've got to be lucky every single day, they only need to be lucky once. This constant threat created a nerve-wracking atmosphere. Friends were killed on deployment, and every day carried the real possibility of being the last. But rather than paralyzing him, that awareness kept him sharp and alert. He acknowledges the duality of a soldier's mindset. On one hand, fear for your family and the possibility of not returning home. On the other, the adrenaline-fueled excitement of finally being tested in real combat situations. Billingham emphasizes that no soldier truly likes war. To him, anyone who claims that is a fool. But every soldier wants to know how they will perform under fire. Would they keep a clear head, make the right decisions, and prove themselves? His deployment to Northern Ireland was his first chance to answer those questions. One of Billingham's biggest takeaways from his early tours was the importance of decision-making in crisis. He learned he had a knack for quick thinking under pressure. While he disliked over-planning and endless what-if scenarios, he thrived in fast-moving, unpredictable situations. For him, adaptability was the essence of soldiering. He recalls how no mission ever went exactly to plan. Whether stepping off a helicopter, parachuting into an operation, or moving in vehicles, communications would fail. Unexpected resistance would appear, or civilians would suddenly complicate matters. Soldiers had to be able to switch instantly, ramping aggression up or down as the situation demanded. He describes surreal experiences, such as being in the middle of a chaotic firefight in Bosnia, only to spot a local man casually washing his car nearby, oblivious to the war raging around him. These contradictions highlighted the strange, unpredictable nature of modern conflict. For Billingham, the challenge wasn't just about fighting, it was about managing chaos, keeping control, and thinking on his feet while lives hung in the balance. Billingham's journey from a skinny, uncertain teenager to an elite soldier is one driven by resilience and refusal to quit. Fear of returning to his old life pushed him forward, but over time, self-belief and a hunger for challenge took over. His experiences in Northern Ireland and later conflicts confirmed his ability to handle the pressures of war, not because he enjoyed violence, but because he thrived on responsibility, decision-making, and overcoming adversity. It is not raw strength or bravado that ensures survival, but grit, adaptability, and mental endurance. His story shows that the real test of a paratrooper isn't just surviving training, it's facing the unpredictability of combat with clarity, courage, and resilience.